Your calendar is a record of what you value, but it's also an indictment of what you've settled for. The biggest threat to your life's work is the endless parade of perfectly good opportunities. You'll learn that the most successful people build their empires on a foundation of polite, firm, and consistent refusal. And the chances are, your current schedule is a cage built from agreeable nods, blocking the very thing you're searching for. The default setting for most careers and most lives is addition. We collect skills, projects, contacts, and commitments. Each one feels like a small win, a step forward. A 7 out of 10 opportunity comes along. It's interesting. It pays the bills. Your peers would consider it a success. So you say yes. Then another 8 out of 10 appears. You squeeze it in. Your capacity shrinks. Your schedule swells. You feel busy, productive, and important. This feeling is a trap. You're building a portfolio of good while the space required for great vanishes. Imagine your energy as a finite amount of water. You can use it to water 100 small potted plants. They'll survive. Some might even grow a little. Or you can pour that same amount of water onto one single promising seed planted in fertile ground. The first strategy gives you an oak tree. The tragedy is that the 100 potted plants look like progress for a very long time. So why is the good so seductive? Because great is often invisible. A great opportunity rarely arrives in a clean, scheduled email. It's born from slack. It emerges from boredom. It's the product of unstructured time, deep thought, and the collision of unrelated ideas. A calendar packed with good commitments is a fortress against this kind of serendipity. Your busyness creates a kind of cognitive noise that drowns out the faint signal of a truly transformative idea. You're so focused on executing the next item on your to-do list that you fail to see the whole list is pointing in the wrong direction. You've become an expert at climbing a ladder that is leaning against the wrong wall. The real cost of saying yes to a good project is the forfeiture of the thinking time that could have generated a great one. The choice is rarely between a good thing and a bad thing. It's between a good thing and everything else. All the potential futures you can no longer access. But the math of this is even more brutal than it sounds, because the cost of each commitment isn't linear, it's exponential. Your first few commitments cost you very little. You have ample time and energy, but as you approach your capacity, each new yes carries a devastating price. The final 10% of your available time is your most valuable. That's your margin. It's the space for emergencies, for sudden inspiration, for health, for relationships. It's the buffer that keeps the entire system from collapsing. When you say yes to one more good thing and fill that final 10%, you don't just become 10% busier, you become 100% fragile. You're now running at the red line. A single unexpected event, a sick child, a server crash, a traffic jam can trigger a cascade of failures across your entire system. The cost of that last yes was your resilience. You traded your ability to handle chaos for one more line item on your resume. This is the state where burnout is born. It's the direct result of accumulating too many good opportunities, each one chipping away at your margin until nothing is left. The architect of this trap is a powerful cognitive bias, the bias for action. In a situation of uncertainty, our brains scream at us to do something, anything. An empty calendar feels like a void. It feels like failure, like falling behind. A full calendar, even one filled with low-impact tasks, feels like motion. It feels safe. We would rather be busy and wrong than idle and right. Entrepreneurs are especially vulnerable to this. They'll launch a dozen mediocre features instead of pausing to find one single game-changing insight. The pressure to ship overrides the need for quality. Corporate culture amplifies this. An employee who looks busy is rewarded. An employee who is sitting and thinking is often seen as slacking. We've created systems that celebrate visible effort over invisible progress. This creates a powerful incentive to say yes. Each yes is a performance of productivity. Each no feels like a risk, a missed chance. The problem is, strategic idleness is where the breakthroughs happen. Think of it like a venture capitalist's portfolio. A successful VC knows that most of their investments will yield mediocre returns or fail completely. They're waiting for the one or two investments that will return 1,000 times their money. These are the investments that pay for all the others. They don't need a portfolio of 100 good companies. They need one great one. To find it, they have to say no to hundreds of perfectly viable, profitable, good businesses. They are preserving their capital, both financial and attentional, for the outlier. Your life operates on the same principle. You are searching for the projects, relationships, and skills that deliver asymmetric returns. The ones that, with a similar amount of effort, produce a result that is 10 or 100 times greater. And finding them requires saying no to the things that offer predictable, average returns. It requires the discipline to keep your own capital free. This discipline is incredibly difficult to maintain, because saying no has immediate tangible social costs. You risk disappointing people. You might appear uncooperative or unambitious. You might close a door you think you'll need later. Saying yes, on the other hand, delivers an immediate reward. You get social approval. You feel helpful. You get a rush from being wanted. Our brains are wired to prioritize immediate certain rewards over distant, uncertain ones. Saying yes is a hit of social validation. Saying no is an investment in a future that may never materialize. It takes immense confidence to trade a guaranteed small win today for the possibility of a huge win tomorrow. This is why so many brilliant people end up with cluttered, underwhelming careers. They were addicted to the small wins. They optimized for being liked in the short term, at the expense of being respected in the long term. There's a famous story about the artist Pablo Picasso. A woman spotted him in a cafe and asked him to draw a sketch on a napkin. He did, in about 30 seconds. When he told her the price was 50,000 francs, she was shocked. "But it only took you 30 seconds, she said. Picasso replied, "No, it took me 40 years. The story illustrates that his ability to create value was concentrated. It was the result of decades of singular focus, decades of saying no to other styles of art, saying no to commissions that didn't interest him, saying no to distractions. His entire life was a process of elimination, clearing the space for his genius to operate. Every time you say no to a good opportunity, you are making a similar investment. You're not just declining a task, you are earning the time, focus, and clarity required to do the work that only you can do. You are paying the price for your own napkin sketch." But what does this look like in practice? It starts by changing the question. The default question we ask is this a good opportunity? If the answer is yes, we feel compelled to take it. The better question is, if I say yes to this, what am I implicitly saying no to? And the answer is always 1,000 other things, including the yet undiscovered great thing. This reframing shifts the focus from the immediate gain to the long-term opportunity cost. Another tactical approach is to create a set of inviolable rules. Billionaire investor Warren Buffett suggests a two-list strategy. Write down your top 25 career goals. Then, circle the 5 most important. Everything that you did not circle, the other 20, now becomes your avoid at all costs list. These are the dangerous ones. They are interesting enough to distract you, but they are not important enough to define you. They are the enemies of your top 5. This is a system for pre-deciding your NOS. It removes the emotion and social pressure from the moment of decision. You're no longer deciding on the merits of the single opportunity in front of you. You're executing a long-term strategy. The choice was already made. This requires a fundamental shift in identity. You must stop seeing yourself as a person who gets things done and start seeing yourself as a person who gets the right things done. The first identity is about volume. The second is about impact. The first says yes to feel productive. The second says no to stay focused. This shift is deeply uncomfortable. It often means a period where your output seems to drop. You'll have more empty space in your calendar. You'll feel a sense of withdrawal from the constant hum of busyness. You have to learn to tolerate this void. You have to trust that the space you are creating is a prerequisite for a higher quality of work to emerge. It's like a farmer letting a field lie fallow for a season. To the uninformed observer, it looks like nothing is happening. But the farmer knows that the soil is recovering its nutrients, preparing for a more abundant harvest next year. Your strategic no is your fallow season. The ultimate form of this practice is what the author Greg McKeown calls essentialism. It's the disciplined pursuit of less. An essentialist doesn't ask, "How can I fit this all in?" An essentialist asks, "What is the one thing I can do that will make everything else easier or unnecessary?" This question is a powerful filter. It forces you to identify the point of maximum leverage. Most of what we do is low leverage. It's linear effort for linear return. But a few activities are high leverage. They are the master domino that, once tipped, knocks down 100 others. A programmer who spends a week building a tool that automates a daily 1-hour task has found a leverage point. An author who spends a month perfecting the outline of their book, making the actual writing process smoother and faster, has found a leverage point. The essentialist's job is to ruthlessly eliminate the low-leverage activities, even the good ones, to create overwhelming force to apply to the high-leverage ones. But there's a paradox here. How do you know which opportunities are great if you don't first sample many good ones? Especially early in a career, exploration is vital. The key is to distinguish between two modes: exploration mode and execution mode. In execution mode, in exploration mode, your job is to say yes to a wide variety of things. You're collecting data. You're figuring out what you're good at, what the market values, and what you actually enjoy. You're trying a lot of things with the understanding that most will be dead ends. The mistake is staying in exploration mode forever. At some point, you must analyze the data you've collected and make a choice. You must commit. This is the transition to execution mode. In execution mode, your primary job becomes saying no. You've found your leverage point, and now your task is to protect your time and energy to exploit it fully. The tragedy for many is getting stuck in the middle, doing a little of both, and succeeding at neither. They continue exploring long after they have enough data, afraid to commit to a single path because it means saying no to all the others. This fear is rooted in a misunderstanding of what a no really is. We see it as an ending, a closed door, a finality. A no is actually a trade. It's a swap of one asset for another. You are trading a known, tangible good for an unknown potential great. You're trading a small, immediate certainty for a large future possibility. It's an act of faith in your own potential. It's a statement that you believe your future self can create or attract something better than what's on the table right now. Every no to a good project is a yes to your own deep work. Every no to a draining social event is a yes to your own recovery and relationships. Every no to the demands of others is a yes to the demands of your own ambition. The space you create isn't empty, it's full of potential. A blank page is more valuable than a page filled with mediocre prose. You can't write a masterpiece on a page that's already full. First, you must erase. So, look at your calendar for the next month. Look at your project list. For each item, ask yourself a hard question. If this wasn't already on my calendar, how hard would I fight to get it on there? Be honest. You'll find many commitments that are there simply because of inertia. They were a good idea at the time, but they no longer serve your highest goals. These are the ghosts of past priorities, and they are haunting your schedule. They are the good, and they are the enemy of the great. Saying no to a new opportunity is hard, but surgically removing an existing commitment is even harder. It requires an apology, a difficult conversation, a potential burning of a bridge. It feels like a failure, but every one of these difficult conversations is a victory for your future self. It's a reclamation of space, a vote for the oak tree over the 100 potted plants. The final and most uncomfortable truth is that this process never ends. There is no point where you arrive and can finally relax. The better you get, the more good opportunities will come your way. Your success will generate an ever-increasing volume of inbound requests, all of them flattering, all of them good. The discipline of saying no becomes more critical, not less, as you become more successful. The challenge escalates. This is why the world's most accomplished people are often the most ruthless with their time. They understand that their primary asset is their focus, and they protect it like a fortress. They have built systems and hired people whose main job is to say no on their behalf. They know that greatness is found in the depths, not the shallows. And you can only go deep when you are willing to ignore the siren song of the 1,000 good things calling from the surface. The ballot box is open. It's been open this whole time.